Welcome to Pop Stuff. So, you've probably heard, if you're watching this channel and watching the other of my content, Star Trek was my first love. And I've put out a video not too long ago about the state of Star Trek. And here recently I've heard that Star Trek 4 of the, what we call that, Kelvin Trek, the JJ verse, it's been shelved, is the exact words that I've heard, are canceled. Now, nobody said anything officially, but the writing is on the transporter walls. Right, Beverly? The director for the Star Trek 4 film, she has went to work for some other piece of work, and that's not a good sign. Mr. Hemsworth and Mr. Pine, they both walked away from the project because of pay. Paramount wasn't going to pay them what they promised they were going to pay them, and there's rumors that some of the other stars weren't going to be in it either. There's not enough money to pay these big stars their salaries that they want anymore because they screwed up. Paramount, J.J. Abrams, or somebody screwed up, because the first movie was a hoot. I enjoyed it. And then Into Darkness, visually beautiful. The story was just, I just didn't like the story. We already had the Wrath of Khan. I didn't understand why they had to mess with it. We want to see new stories. Is it, I mean, is it a coincidence that Force Awakens was a Star Wars kind of reboot of A New Hope, and then we got Into Darkness was kind of a redo of The Wrath of Khan? I don't know. Is it a coincidence? I don't know. Somebody was overthinking it or something. And then, since that movie, a lot of people didn't like it, it really affected the next movie. I always say, the last movie you made is going to affect the next movie. It just is. I mean, just look at Star Wars, and not just the science fiction franchises, just any. So here we are. Star Trek Beyond was actually a good movie. And if you haven't seen it, I recommend seeing it. It's not perfect, but it was. If I had to rank the three Star Trek movies that came out in the Kelvin Trek, whatever you want to call it, I would rank Beyond as good as the first movie. Pretty dang close. So it's really good. But now we've got Star Trek 4. I remember when I heard that Anton Yelchin, the young actor, he died in a freak accident. I think he got pinned by his own vehicle when he got out to open a gate of his house or something. And I thought, after that, don't make it anymore. I mean, you could recast the role or just leave him out, but I thought, just don't make it anymore. But they were going to anyway. And the Star Trek 4 was supposed to be about George Kirk, you know, and then Captain Kirk, James T. Kirk, you know, in a time travel story. But both of those actors walked away, and that you've got, I heard a rumor, I read a rumor where well, they can make it without Kirk. And I'm thinking, what? You can make a Star Trek movie or series without Kirk, sure. But this is the sequel with Kirk. You know, you can't make it without Kirk, or you know, or Scotty, or Uhura, or any of them. You can't. Okay, so why they were saying that, it just blows my mind. I mean, Voyager didn't have Kirk in it. You know, none of these other Star Treks had Kirk in it because they didn't have Kirk in it from the start. That's crazy. I mean, it's like making the Next Generation movie, but we can make it without Picard. I just, how do these people think? Anyway, so it's been shelved, and to me, that's kind of good news. Honestly, it just needs to end here. I enjoyed them while they were there, but let's just shut it down. Just shut it down. They're trying to make, somebody said the other day, they're trying to make Star Trek into these big blockbuster Star Wars-y movies. That's not what Star Trek always was. I mean, they're venturing away from the equation. Star Trek has always been a consistent moneymaker with moderate budgets. Okay, all the movies didn't cost outrageous, ridiculous amounts of money that a Star Wars movie or even a Marvel movie would cost. They were modest budgets, and they were modest money makers. They didn't break any records, but then again, the budgets were so modest, you didn't have to have a record breaker to make money. On TV and in the movies. When you've got a good format, why change it? You know, if you want to inject some originality in it, or do something that's different, that's fine. Inject a little bit in there. You know, make it your own to a certain point. But just walking away from the format, I mean, everybody wants to dream big and stuff, but a good movie can be made on a modest budget. It can. I mean, look at the movie Upgrade. That movie was great. I recommend go seeing it if you haven't seen it. It was made on a small budget. It's a great movie. And they don't have to. You don't have to spend. You don't have to have CGI in every frame. I've seen some movies that were good and they took place in just a couple of sets in one room. You know, if you got a good story and some good dialogue, some good actors, that's what you pay for the actors for anyway, and the writers. I mean, all this eye candy is wonderful, and I love it, but I mean, you gotta have a story. You gotta have a good story. And I wasn't too sure about this story that I heard about Star Trek 4 in the first place. So it's bittersweet, isn't it? No more Star Trek, maybe, for the Kelvin verse, or the Kelvin Trek, or JJ verse. I want more Star Trek, but I don't want, you know, I just don't want them pumped out on an assembly line. It's just, you know, we care about these franchises, just like other people care about those franchises. You know, my wife loves Grey's Anatomy, but I mean, you start taking, you start having them see UFOs, you vary from the format, and it's just going to make her mad. So, you know, stick with what's tried and true. If it starts getting stale, then just take a break. There's no problem with that. Just walk away, take a break. And maybe that's what we need. Just take a break with Star Trek. I haven't seen Discovery except for the first 2 episodes, and I've already said my fill on that. That Michael Burnham character, she defied a direct order, fly by orders, and she trespassed on an unknown alien craft. I don't think they knew it was Klingon. And then the alien came out. It was a Klingon. She killed the Klingon. Then she went back and she committed mutiny. Star Trek's based on the Space Navy. I mean, any bridge officer that did that in our regular Navy would be not only thrown in the penitentiary, but probably, you know, the electric chair. I don't know, but in what Star Trek universe would a bridge officer be allowed to do that and ever get out of prison? That just turned me off. I mean, if you want to make a different universe of some sort of space show, sci-fi show, and that happens, sure, that's fine in that universe. But Star Trek is the Space Navy, and it's based on the Navy, and you know, it's based on structure, you know. So that blew me away, that first couple episodes. This doesn't make any sense. And plus, the next few episodes, the rest of the season, and this season's behind a paywall. I'm not paying it. So anyway, another small rant about CBS and Discovery. If you like Discovery, I'm happy for you, because more Star Trek is good, but they're meddling. You know, they're meddling with it. I need it to make sense. It's science fiction. You already have to, you know, have some, what do they call it? You know, lose some belief on it all in the first place. It's science fiction. So, but anyway, like I was saying, Star Trek 4, the Kelvin Trek, is probably over, or it needs to take a long hiatus, and I think that's a good thing. So maybe there'll be some new Trek come out. I mean, the Picard series is coming out, though I'm worried about that. They say that Picard is going to be vastly different from the Picard on the Next Generation. That's not what I want. I want that same strong, smart Picard that was on that was the captain of the Enterprise. I don't know how they're changing him, but he's supposed to be the star of the show, so hopefully he's still going to be the same. If that's good, if I hear it's good, and maybe if they'll put the first episode or two on CBS TV and I see it, maybe I will buy into that paywall. I doubt it. Now, I'd heard rumors about Nicholas Meyer, who directed The Wrath of Khan. He was making his own thing, and I'd be interested in that. But hey, people that make Star Trek, get away from the Next Generation. Get away from the original series. Go to the future. Go to the future. That's what Star Trek's about. Star Trek's about social commentary, a utopic vision of the future, and exploring. Go past the Next Generation into the next thing. That's my recommendations. Well, thanks for watching. Live prosperly and long. Thanks, Beverly.